All right, welcome to Raise the Trident. Thank you for stopping by. Today, have a very interesting episode. The Mariners are in a very weird and negative spot right now, as you probably can tell if you're watching the games, and which is weird to say because they are still in the playoff spot. They're still in the wild card three spot. However, that's starting to dwindle really quickly now. When we get into portions of the year where I don't really know how to fully talk out how I feel about the team, or I feel like maybe I'm being too reactionary, what I will always do is find someone to come on the pod who is smarter than me and knows more than me and can, kind of carry the episode at this point because I have no idea how to word what I want to say. So, welcoming back to the channel. He's been on here plenty of times before. Dane Gonzalez of Locked On Mariners. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you inviting me on. I am a dumbass though, so you've already fucked up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, like it's still, you're still more knowledgeable than I am. So there is that. So, I mean, hey, if the bar's low, the bar's low, but, regardless, this is just, I feel like a good time to come on and kind of talk through what the hell's going on with the Mariners. And this is gonna be a bit more of like I don't want to say unfiltered because oh gosh, we're using naughty words or whatever, but we're not going to be like super, we're just gonna let it fly in this pod and see how it goes.
I already got one off.
Yeah.
I'm shooting
got a quota.
I'm shooting for 100.
Okay. Awesome. Good thing this isn't monetized, so we're good there.
I'm shooting to get Jake's channel taken down.
Yeah. So I will definitely be marking not made for kids when I upload this one. So so we're going to talk about the Seattle Mariners right now. This is being recorded on September 2nd, before game 2 against the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa Bay. So a little bit of context there. Right now they are sitting at 73 and 65. They are 3 games back of the Astros in the AL West. And right now they are sitting in wild card 3 spot with the Red Sox and Yankees both ahead of them by 3.5 games. And behind them, they have the Texas Rangers at 1.5 games back and the Royals at 2.5 games back. And then the Guardians and Rays are both 4 and 4.5 games back, respectively. Obviously, the Rays can make up a bunch of ground on you in this series if you don't play a whole lot better than you were, which is where we need to start, is talking about the team right now. Obviously, when they play at home, they are playing very well. They're winning over and over and over again, and the vibes are high. I was there about a week ago when Cal both tied and hit the record-breaking home run for home runs in a season by a catcher, which was awesome memory. I will take that to the grave. But and it's like the electric factory there. It's really awesome to be at home games. The vibes are high. On the road, it's a lot different. We'll put it that way. Since the All-Star break, they are 6 and 15 on the road. Okay. The pitching's been bad. The hitting's been mediocre at best. And especially last night was just absolutely dreadful. And we just came off a 10-2 loss last night against the Tampa Bay Rays, where not only
100-2.
Yeah, not only did the Mariners pitching give up 2 home runs to 2 Rays hitters that had an OPS that starts with 5. The Mariners' only runs came off of Leo Rivas hitting a home run. And that's it. So not a good game. Castillo gives up 5 earned. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But we have to talk about the team as a whole right here. The road struggles are getting absolutely absurd. Now, I will say last road trip, if they had lost the series to the Mets and the Phillies and then won a series or swept the Orioles, wouldn't be feeling as bad. The Mets and Phillies are great teams. But they definitely did not do that. They only won 2 games out of that whole road trip. And they just lost a series to the Cleveland Guardians in Cleveland and are 1 game away from losing a series against Tampa Bay at a spring training ballpark. How are you feeling, Ty?
Not great, Jake. Not great. Not great. Not having a good time. And this is a spot that we've been in 3 of the last 3 years.
Yeah.
2023, they had the division lead. 2024, they were very much in position to make the playoffs. Here they are again.
Yep.
Third time's the charm, right?
Well, considering it was 21 times the charm previously to 2021 or 2022. Yeah, I think what's really difficult, and you guys, and there, a Locked On Mariners episode did come out earlier today that I haven't had a whole chance to watch and see all the takes. I only got through most of the first segment where you and Colby are just kind of laying it all out there, really. And it's going to be very similar. Yeah. Yeah, I did see a comment that said all-time Colby rant on
mine
it.
Was better. I'm just gonna say mine was better today. Mine was better than his.
Yeah, he went with more of the sarcastic, jokey approach, at least in the first one. But yeah, so we're at a point in the season where although the Mariners are in a wild card spot, and although the Fangraphs playoff odds are at like 70 or 80%, it feels like we are about to have the same year that we did in 2023 and 2024, because when it comes time for the Mariners to be in a playoff position and just literally just win games and you will make the playoffs, which, I mean, granted, like, of course that's how it works, but you're just in a portion where you just need to beat the teams that you absolutely on paper should beat, and they're not doing it, and they are absolutely shitting the bed over and over and over again on the road.
Yeah.
And every Mariners fan that I know is, with a few exceptions, are starting to feel like we're seeing the downfall yet again. We're seeing another September 2023. And it's all because of the road series, because they're winning plenty at home, but they can't even break 500 on the road. So do you have any idea what the problem is on the road?
Nope. That's what makes this so frustrating, because, like, dude, the offense is they're T-Mobile Park merchants.
I know.
What?
Yeah.
The most hitter suppressive park, they can hit there just fine. Anywhere else, though, they're like, what is a baseball bat? What is this thing? What do I do with this?
They're hitting warning track flyouts in a spring training ballpark. But they're hitting bobs galore at T-Mobile Park.
So many pop-ups, so many cookies missed. And don't even get me started on, like, Mitch Garver's at bat yesterday. That's when I snapped. It was like the game was over, by the way. It was like 8-0 at that point. Whatever. But I fucking snapped when I saw 3-0 count that takes 3 consecutive strikes. Very much well within the strike zone. None of them were even close.
Yep.
So I'm Colby is more the guy that likes to be like, oh, this is a pitiful effort. Nah, they look like they don't care, and blah 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 blah. That's hyperbole for the most part. Last night, though, that was not their 100%. Like, they legitimately looked like they could not give a single fuck, and that's a problem to me. That's a major fucking problem to me. Because it's like, dude, like, you have 24 games to go. A lot of you were here for 2023 and 2024 and experienced that. And it just doesn't seem like it was, they were down 5-0, and we've seen this team come back a bunch.
We saw it literally last week.
Yeah. We've seen that a bunch over the course of this year. We know that they have that, like, fight in them, or whatever cheesy term you want to use here. Like, we know that. Like, we've seen that. So what the fuck was that last night? Like, it literally looked like they gave up.
Yep.
And especially against a guy that, here, let me pull up the numbers. And Shane Baz, who...
He had an ERA starting with 5 going into the game.
Opponents had a 284, 351, 537 slash line against him in that ballpark. And they were ass against him.
Yeah.
And this isn't, I'm tired of the whole, like, well, you just got to tip your cap, like, the main thing, or the main message of today's episode of Locked On was, like, no more excuses. I don't want to hear about travel. I don't want to hear about humidity, rain delays. I don't want to hear about any of that anymore. Like, you are professional athletes who have a great opportunity in front of you, and you are too talented for this. You were too talented to play this poorly against mediocre to straight up bad teams.
Yep.
This is inexcusable. And you have no business looking the way that you do, body language wise, the way that they did last night. That was bullshit. Like JP Crawford's error last night. I get it, it's 10-0 or whatever at that point. Still, like, it was just lethargic. It was lethargic plays, lethargic at bats. What are we doing? Like, and I don't care if it's 100-0. You better not look like you're giving up, especially at this point in the season. I did not like that. I watched that whole game for a very specific reason. I forced myself to watch all 9 innings of that garbage last night for a very specific reason, to see how they would respond and fight through that game. And the answer is they didn't at all. They gave up. Yep. And that, to me, is a major, major issue. And it sends up major red flags about Dan Wilson, about this clubhouse right now, the state of the clubhouse, just the mentality in there right now, and the sense of urgency and their energy at the moment. It doesn't seem, at least as far as last night goes, that they recognize what the situation is at hand right now. And this doesn't look like a team that bitterly watched the Rangers celebrate on their field 2 years ago. And, you know, talked about how, like, ownership needs to support them and the front office needs to support them. And, you know, it's so frustrating watching, you know, what the Rangers did this past offseason and them get rewarded for it. Okay, well, the front office actually went out and supported you. Did they do everything that they should have done? No, especially not in the offseason. Like, I'm not even talking about the offseason. The offseason, we can, you know, talk about that for hours. But at the deadline, like, yeah, they didn't go out and get Phil Maton or Danny Coulombe or whatever. You're not losing games right now, though, because you didn't get Phil Maton and Danny Coulombe. Like, even Friday, where the bullpen melted down because the guys that you would be banking on, even if you went and got John Duran or Phil Maton or Danny Coulombe, because the guys that you would be banking on either way blew it. So this isn't a Jerry thing. This isn't an ownership thing. And I love to just dump all the blame on ownership. I love it. I love shitting on ownership. This is not their problem. This is not the front office's problem. This is the players and just everyone in that clubhouse.
Yep.
And this is setting up red flags about just where they are right now mentally, and who Dan Wilson is as a leader, and what their leadership structure is, and the messaging that's getting sent down. And to me, I'm not saying that they don't have leaders, right? You've seen me have this conversation privately. Mm-hmm. I won't mention anyone else that's involved in that conversation, but, like, you've seen me have that conversation with people in private as well. I'm not saying that they don't have leaders. I'm not saying that that they're just, like, fucking around. What I'm saying, though, is that the leadership style has to change depending on the situation. And I don't know if they're doing that right now. And I don't know if they're capable of adapting and what the messaging is and establishing that sense of urgency that they really, really need right now. They can't just do this whole, like, hey, you know, we'll get them tomorrow type of thing, because there might not be tomorrow. Like, that works in May and June and July. That doesn't work right now. That doesn't work in September. Like, you need to have a killer instinct right now. You need to have the killer instinct that the Astros have, that the Brewers have, that the Phillies have, where it's like, any motherfucker that gets in our way is getting smoked. Like, we're not letting the Rangers or the Royals, or we're not letting them get in the way of this. Like, we're too good for that shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, miss me with the Kansas City Royals. Like, what are we doing? So, yeah, again, this is a team that pounded the table for support from their ownership group and from their front office, and they finally got it this summer. And now they're just, like, blowing it. They're blowing it.
Yep.
And they're too good for this. They're way better than the Rangers, especially the Rangers in their current state. They're way better than them. This shouldn't even be a conversation about them. And I'm really not worried about them either way. It's really just the Royals. Like, the Rangers, yeah. But the Royals are the actual issue here. But like, they're way better than those teams. This shouldn't even be a fucking question.
Yeah.
The fact that it is a major problem.
Well, and I said as much in one of the GCs we share last night. I said the fact that it's even a question on whether we'll make the playoffs right now is insane. It shouldn't be. And I want to dispel, like, I haven't seen anyone necessarily say this, but I do want to dispel the notion that this has to do with like the talent that's on the roster. If anyone harbors that at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off the lineup tonight, which is ultimately like their A lineup for the most part. And then I'm going to read off what our lineups were on September 2nd. So the same day we're recording this, last year and in 2023. And you tell me which team should blow it out of the water. Okay. So tonight we have Randy Rosarena, we have Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez, Jorge Polanco, Dominic Canzone, JP Crawford, and Cole Young. Last year, so September 2nd, 2024, against the Oakland Athletics, our lineup was JP Crawford, Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, Randy Rosarena, Justin Turner, Jorge Polanco, Luke Raley, Josh Rojas, and Victor Robles. And Leo Rivas, Dylan Moore, Mitch Garver, and Mitch Haniger all appeared in that game as well. Okay. And then in 2023, JP Crawford, Julio Rodriguez, Eugenio Suarez, Teoscar Hernandez, Cal Raleigh, Ty France, Dylan Moore, Sam Haggerty, and Jose Caballero. That's the lineup in 2023.
Yeah.
So it's not a talent thing. Like, this is the best lineup and roster almost completely. Then, I mean, you could make maybe a case, obviously, like some of the previous bullpens were better than the bullpen they have now. Sure, whatever.
Sure.
But rotation wise, it's fine. The talent is there. The rotation isn't coming through like they need to. But lineup wise, I mean, it is such a deep lineup that they have now that there's just no reason why they should be getting like 5 hit, 2 runs in a spring training ballpark against a starting pitcher with an above 5 ERA. And at that point, a blowout game. So it's not like Tampa Bay's using their best bullpen arms in the game either.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just one game, because obviously, like, the offenses looked really good at home specifically, which, once again, how the hell does that happen? Okay. But you faced a Baltimore Orioles pitching staff that is absolutely dog shit. And you did almost nothing against them except for game 1, I think. I don't remember the exact scores. And then, like it just doesn't make any sense. And the Cleveland Guardians bullpen and pitching is not as good as it was last year.
Nope.
And you lose 2 or 3 games, right? Like, it's just... There's a lot of problems here, and I want to expand on the thought process of like the whole killer instinct thing. That's been my thing the last 3 years, okay? Like, it is one thing to have kind of that almost insane positivity, fun baseball that you're trying to have in, like you said, April, May, June, because like at that point, you have a marathon of a season ahead of you. You're just trying to get through the travel, all the days and the games and all that. And I understand that obviously you are in now September, so you have the whole season of wear and tear from the season going on. But the problem is all the last 3 seasons you have been in a playoff position start of September. And 2 years in a row thus far, and maybe now this year, you are going to absolutely piss it away in September and it's going to be the same in both years. It's been the same thing. It has been low energy. It has been errors. It's been sloppy baseball. And, some people, and I've heard the argument, like, that they have a hard time creating their own energy away in away games. Yeah. Well, one, before the All-Star break, they were fine on the road, and they have been the last couple years. Okay. Yeah. So there's that. But also, if that's the problem, then you don't deserve to play playoff baseball. Like, if you have to play at home, right? Like, you don't deserve it.
And guess what? They're not going to right now. If they get into October, they're probably going out on the road. And guess where they're probably going? They're probably going to that fucking House of Horrors in Houston. So, like...
I'm never going to say that a professional baseball player any of them. Like it's a fact that they don't care, because obviously they care.
They care.
But how much do you care if you go into September every year and shit the bed? And it's the same thing. And like you said, it's not a matter of, you know, the ownership and the, you know, Jerry DiPoto not doing enough in the offseason or the trade deadline or whatever. I mean, you can make a case that, like, yes, they need a couple more arms at the trade deadline, whatever.
Sure.
They got the two best hitters on the market.
Well, and again, they're not losing because they didn't go out and get Phil Maton or Danny Coulomb.
Yeah.
Right. They're losing because their offense that they built, that is, in my mind, just talent wise, the best offense that they've had since like 2001 through 2003, can't fucking hit a baseball on the road.
Yeah.
And their pitching staff, which they were absolutely valid in hitching their wagon to, can't fucking pitch.
Yeah.
Outside of Brian Wu and, you know, occasionally George Kirby and sometimes Logan Gilbert.
Yep.
And like Luis Castillo, you know,
yeah, we'll talk about him.
Was
here.
fantastic for, you know, for what you needed. You know,
through the All-Star break, he was great.
Yeah,
like, for the most,
he was.
Yeah,
he wasn't a Cy Young contender or anything like that. But like for what you needed, he was great because he just stabilized everything. And there were so many times I said over the course of the season, God, where would this team be if they had traded Luis this winter? And that's absolutely true, and that's still true to this day. But the last four starts are unacceptable from your vet. Like last night, you know, he looked great for the first five batters, and then Jake Mangum, you know, gets an infield single, steals a base, and then he just fucking goes off the rails. And it's like, what is that? And then, you know, Bryce, great start on Sunday. I don't trust you though. Like, while you're dealing with this arm thing, like that's, you know, no offense to you, man, but like I just don't trust you right now. So, you know, I just take him by a start to start basis. Logan has been getting all these strikeouts, and he's started to be a bit better in terms of getting deeper into games, but he's really hurt the bullpen, which ultimately impacts not just that game, but future games and series and the outcomes of series. You know, and George has been kind of inconsistent. I mean, he's probably been your second best guy, but that's not really saying a ton. The bar is pretty fucking low. It's really just like Brian Wu is here, and then everyone else is like kind of here, and then like Luis Castillo is like all the way fucking down here right now. And so that's the main issue, right? And it's just nothing is going right for you, right? I mean, that's just all a roundabout way of saying like everything is
on
just
the road, nothing is going
apart.
right.
Yeah, on the road. At home, again,
at home they're fantastic. I mean, they're literally world beaters at home,
which is completely fucking inexplicable. But
yeah, we'll talking about Luis Castillo. I did want to touch on him a little bit more. So he was really good through July. In August, he put up a 6.66 ERA with a 1.64 WHIP in August. Last night against Tampa Bay, he only goes 4 innings, gives up 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 1 home run. 8 of the 12 balls in play that he allowed were hard hit. And Luke Arkins, if you follow him on Twitter, had a very interesting graph from Baseball Savant of Luis Castillo's average exit velocity given up by month. And you can see it go, I mean, it's hovering around like a little bit above 90 for almost the whole season, even gets down to almost 89 in July. Yeah. And then it literally looks like a pump and dump the way it goes up. Because in August, it goes up to 93.2. That's the average X velocity that he gave up in August. Yeah. And I was worried about Luis Castillo coming into the year because obviously he's aging. We know that his velo is going down and down over the year, which means if you don't want to get hit hard, that means his command and control needs to be otherworldly to give up to have a good start with the velocity issues. And you know, it obviously was going great through July, but now in August and now his first start in September have been literally horrid. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think's going on with Luis? I think at this point it just feels like a stamina issue at this point. And yeah, what do you do with him in the playoffs? Like if you do make the playoffs, which we don't even know is going to happen at this point.
He's not on the playoff roster.
Yeah, he can't.
I'm not putting him on the playoff roster. Plus, you don't have to worry about having more than 3 starters until the CS. So And do we think this club is getting to the CS, let alone, just making the fucking playoffs? Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, that's a bridge we'll cross when we get to it, if we ever get to it. But yeah, like, because I don't trust him out of the bullpen. I don't trust, even if he wasn't going like this, I probably wouldn't trust him. Oh, the bullpen, just, asking him to do something that he hasn't done. I just don't think that his stuff would particularly play up well out of the bullpen, like, someone like Bryce Miller, for example. As for what's going on with him, I think it's pretty simple, and like what's leading to the exit velocity issues. The only pitch that you trust right now to throw a strike with is his fastball, and the fastball velo is down, and he can't hit the corners with it. He's catching way too much plate with it, and hitters are just smoking it. Yep. Simple as that. Like, he can't really land anything else for a strike right now with any sort of consistency. Mm-hmm. And so especially when he's in the stretch, and he's always struggled to pitch out of the stretch. Even, when he was at his peak during his Mariners tenure, he's had issues pitching out of the stretch. When he pitches out of the stretch, he doesn't trust that he can land anything other than his fastball. And so when he gets into those counts, and when he gets into those deeper counts, and he gets into the stretch, that's just what he goes to, and he just hopes that he can kind of blow it by guys, or that they're going to miss it. And more often than not, they're not. So, yeah. And this is what I was saying a couple weeks ago on Locked On. Like, I don't think the Luis issues, or really just the issues with the rotation in general, are T-Mobile Park related, or related to not pitching in T-Mobile Park. I think it's deeper than that. I think it's, even if they, going back to the last road trip, even if they pitched like that at T-Mobile Park, they were going to get smoked. And specifically Castillo, and we saw it against the Padres when he threw against the Padres. They were at T-Mobile Park. He got fucking smoked. So, yeah, I mean, right now, there's nothing you can do about it, because, like, Colby, has talked about skipping his start, or his next start, but it's like, with how little you trust Bryce Miller right now, and how inconsistent Logan Gilbert is, and how inconsistent George Kirby has been, you're kind of like,
well, and Logan is coming back from arm issues.
How many times are we going to talk about, like, oh, we got to skip this guy's start, and this guy can't be, like, you can't win with this guy, and you're punting this game with this guy. Like, you could say that about at least 3 of the 5 guys at times this year.
Yeah, I think with Luis, you can't skip a start, because Logan Gilbert has, although he's been better, he's also been throwing his splitter a lot more, which is like probably what gave him the arm issues in the first place. So, like, one, I'm terrified of his health going forward. And then Bryce Miller, the same thing. Like, he can't go on short rest, because he's already still being kind of short scripted a little bit anyway. So it's just impossible, unless you want, Emerson Hancock, who just got transitioned to the bullpen, go back to starting, and then, like, or you could do Logan Evans, I guess, but, like, I'd only trust Logan Evans, I guess, at home, but I don't know. It's just, there's not really any good options, and I'm going to tell you what I'm most scared of. Like, if they do make the playoffs, is I am worried that they will find a mental gymnastics way to stick with Luis starting a game, because he's the veteran. They're paying him a lot of money. He's, big game Luis is what I guess Dan called him the other day, which, like, I don't really care what Dan calls him, but at the same time, like, I'm worried that his start in Toronto in the wild card series, literally 3 years ago, is going to be like, oh, but he's pitched in big games before, so, like, we should go to him instead. That scares the hell out of me, because in my opinion, you're punting the game. Then I'd much rather have George Kirby, or literally, at this point, probably Bryce Miller, honestly, frankly. But, like, I don't know. It's just, I'm worried that they're going to find a way to give him a start if they make the playoffs, but obviously they have to do that regardless. To end the Castillo talk, though, what do you think they end up doing for next year? Do you think they trade him away?
It's such a complicated situation, because it's like,
so expensive.
One, you got to wait until January for the no trade clause to lift, so you can't do it right away. So teams might have already addressed some things in their rotation by that point. And then, there's the money, and it's like, okay, how much are you willing to keep? Because no team is going to take on the whole contract, especially knowing what he's been outside of T-Mobile Park. So I don't even think you can get them to take on the majority of the contract, even if you're getting literally like Sebi Zavala back. Like, I don't think that's possible. So yeah, so how much are you willing to eat? Is that actually ultimately worth it to you? Because you got to reinvest the money, and you got to do something about your rotation after that, and that might involve spending some of the money that you get from your savings on the Castillo deal. So I don't know. It's so. Ask me again in a couple of months, and okay. I might have a different answer for you. Yeah. I do think some of it is dependent on how he finishes out the season, but if it's just more of this, and that's the lasting image in teams' minds,
yep, it's gonna be tough.
And he doesn't pitch in the postseason, or if he does, he doesn't pitch well in the postseason, and that's the lasting image that teams have in their minds. Yeah, I don't see how you really pull off something that's going to benefit you in the end, but who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, well, and pitching is, king in baseball, and you can't have enough of it. Yada 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 yada. Right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, maybe there's a team that just, we think we can fix them. We think we have the tweak. You got to eat X amount of money, but we'll do it. So yeah, we'll see.
All right. So next question. Genuinely, do you think they make the playoffs?
Part of me wants to say no, just because I want to reverse jinx. Go full Colby. I think
reverse jinxing has never worked for me personally, so
yeah,
maybe not a good place to do that.
I don't know. Part of me feels like this road trip is going to be a disaster. We basically are like, yeah, they're cooked, and then they go out on the next road trip and they go like 5-1 against the Royals and the Astros, and we're like, we're back.
Yeah,
fuck.
Yeah.
That feels like the most Mariners thing that could happen here. I'll say yes that they get in, but it's going to be just a fucking pain in the ass to watch the whole time. They're going to make us sweat it out, because of course they will. And yeah, they're not gonna win the division. They're not gonna do all the cool shit that they could absolutely do, but they're just gonna barely get in. And hopefully they have their shit together by that point, because they're probably gonna play the Astros, and I cannot live with them losing to the Astros again in the playoffs, frankly. So
yeah, it would be insufferable for that next few months at least, if not more.
Oh god,
it'd be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't know really where I stand, and it does ultimately lead into my next question, or kind of the final big topic to talk about. Is I've made it clear before, I am a newer fan in the last few years, so I haven't went through the lifetime of disappointment that a lot of Mariner fans have went through. So there's another reason that I wanted to have someone like you on that can hopefully talk a little bit to what that's like and kind of where you're at with that. Is I feel like I've seen, especially in the replies to tweets and whatnot, for me, it certainly seems like the longtime Mariner fans are very rightfully guarded in their emotions and their expectations as far as making the playoffs. Literally already have people saying they're not going to make it. They're not going to win the playoffs. The choke has already started. Saying JP shouldn't play for the whole next month, and Cole Young the whole next month. All that stuff, right?
That stuff is extreme.
Of course. But it does seem like there are plenty of people who are lifelong fans who are kind of already resigned to failure instead of, obviously there's a lot of positives going the Mariners' direction, other than the game results. They have the best lineup they've had in a long time. They have been playing insanely well at home. They still have, the best offensive catching season ever occurring right now on their team. And the AL is so weak that they have a spot, as long, literally it's up to them to give it away at this point. is what it feels like. Because once again, the teams behind you that are realistically within striking distance right now is the Texas Rangers, who no longer have Eovaldi for the rest of the season. They don't have Semien or Seager right now. Seager's probably going to be out for a little while with the appendectomy. Shout out Trent Thornton, RIP. And it's like, are you really going to lose a playoff spot to this Texas Rangers team with Dylan Moore, who of course can like hit the baseball now, and Sam Haggerty and Rowdy Tellez as their starting first baseman? You're going to lose it to this Texas Rangers team. And then the Royals, I mean, obviously they have great pieces, but like it feels like they have to actively sabotage themselves to lose this playoff spot, which they've been doing very well on the road doing. But going back into the point of the question, though, is just fans and Mariners fans who've been fans for their whole lifetimes or for a long time, guarding their emotions. I guess, what do you think is I don't want to say correct way to approach this situation, but I guess what do you think is like the most reasonable way to approach it right now?
That's a good question. Because, like, well, what I said on Locked On today is very true, that you're the Seattle Mariners. You've been around for half a century and you've made the playoffs, 5 times, 6 times in your team's history. You don't get the benefit of the doubt. You don't. Especially from the people that have like been here every season, even longer than I have. Right. That have been there, done that, and have 40 some odd t-shirts to show for it. And for those people, like, yeah, I totally get how you feel right now. That, like, in all likelihood, they're going to fuck it up again, because that's what the Mariners do. And that's independent of who the actual players are and who the people are that put the whole team together and all that, right? It's just, that's the Mariners. Those are the Mariners we've really always known, except for like little pockets here and there over the course of their existence. But for the most part, what the Mariners do best is fuck things up. And so it's very easy to panic and think, like, as soon as things start going wrong like they are right now, and you're 6-15 on the road and you're losing all these games to teams that you absolutely should be beating, to put more ground in front of you, or put more ground between you and the Royals and the Rangers, and this shouldn't even be a question. Like, it's like, of course this is what's happening, because that's what the Mariners do. I mean, in 2022, when they were like very clearly on the way to making the postseason and ending the drought, they had that one game where they were up 11-2 in Kansas City and they fucking blew it. And I remember thinking, they're going to fuck this up. They're going to blow this. They're going to miss the playoffs again. And this is the start of it. And so I think that's just kind of like our default. Like, for people that have been fans of this team for decades, like, that's our default. It's just like, they are going to find a way to mess this up. That's absolutely what's going to happen. I think the reasonable way, because there's like also the flip side of it where people are just like, you got to have these guys back. And it's like, yeah, we got to have these guys back, but we also have to acknowledge what the real shit is, and that, like, they're not playing good ball right now, and their body language is not a good look at the moment. Like, that's also, like, both things can be true. And we should criticize them for that, because they are fucking up a great opportunity right now. And it's not just, by the way, when I say that, I'm not just saying like, oh, they're fucking up making the playoffs. I'm talking about, like, they've lost so many games when the Astros have lost. They could easily be in the division lead right now. Easily. Yep. And they've like this weekend in Cleveland, the weekend wound up turning from utter disaster into more just a matter of missed opportunities, especially like when they lost on Friday. Like, that was a big missed opportunity to gain ground and lower that magic number even further and all that. And so that's what's most irritating about this. And so on the flip side of it, you got people that are like, oh, it's just, you got to be positive. You got to keep it positive, and I think it's like this constant like acting of longtime fans voicing that concern and voicing years of frustration is like viewed as like this toxic thing, and it shouldn't. Like people just want a real winner for once. You think this is bad? Like, go be a Yankee fan. Go listen to the radio whenever the Yankees have a bad loss, despite them being like 30 games over 500. Like, the Mariners like are absolutely, they're like the furthest thing from being, or from having the benefit of the doubt, from deserving the benefit of the doubt from people, from their fan base.
Well, like, this lineup is too. They are too talented of a team for us to be on a regular basis, like literally telling ourselves, do they know they're in a playoff position right now? Like, do they know that all they have to do is play to their talent level and they are in the playoffs right now? And they're playing October baseball. Do they want to play like did the champagne sting too much in 2022 where you're like, I don't want to do that again? Like, what is like, I don't understand. Yeah. The fact that we have to say that so often. I mean, granted, we haven't had to say it in the home series, which is great, but it's like you can't win. You can't go, 5-2 at home and then go 2, like you're just playing 500 baseball at that point. If you are,
and look, they're
playing
gonna
like
have a bad homestand. Probably they're probably gonna have a bad homestand at some point too. Like,
but where's the good road trip? Like,
so that's the thing. Is like, and so it's like, hopefully, the flip side of that is that you start playing better on the road, but it's like you're running out of opportunities to do that, and you're also running just out of road games in general too. It's like the next 2 in Tampa, 3 in Atlanta, then 3 in Kansas City, and 3 in Houston. And you're done on the road until hopefully you're in the postseason. But you just have to play better. I mean, like, it's just as simple as that. And again, it's like, I want to try and keep things positive and have these guys back and, all that. And, I'm sure it doesn't help that, some of these guys see idiots like me with a microphone talking about how they're going to fucking blow this. But also, if they're letting idiots like me, talk about how they're going to fucking blow this, bother them that much, then we have a bigger issue at hand. So it kind of works both ways,
Well, and in this fan base too, and I think I want to say Colby's called it out before. We are, or at least there are plenty of members of this fandom who are really nice to players that are not good, that are on the Mariners. We make cult heroes, and listen, I loved Rowdy Tellez earlier this year, so I am absolutely, I mean, it was ultimately a joke thing.
I've been an irrational fan of bad Donnie Barrels. Donnie fucking Barrels this year.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, like, if anything, like, we are one of the nicer fan bases in that way, but it's just a thing where, I mean,
as soon as a guy
we all want to see October.
As soon as the guy says, I love Seattle and I love being here, people are like, well, you can never get rid of him. And I get part of that is just because, like, it's not often that you see guys be like, I want to come to Seattle and I want to play here and I love being here and all that. And I get it. But it's like, dude, like, you got to recognize when, like, and like, I get some of that is just like casual fans being casual fans. And that's fine. And like, I'm not ever going to criticize people that they just like the games and they like the players.
And most fans are those casual fans.
Yeah, that's like the majority of the fan base. We're the fucking weird ones. Like,
the sickos.
Like, and I get that. I'm just saying though, like, they're like, there's a weird dynamic here where the same fans that demand that they get better and have better players are also the ones that are like, well, you can't get rid of Rowdy Tellez. Like, you can't get rid of Dylan Moore. Like, what? Like, and it's like, okay, see how that doesn't make any sense. It's like, do you want to win or do you want just players that you like? Like, you really can't have both. I mean, like, you can have good players that you like that help you win, but like, you can't do this like, oh, I want Dylan Moore and I want Marco Gonzalez and I want Ty France around, but also I want to win. And how dare Jerry not spend money and blah, 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 blah. Like, you can't, like, those two things, that doesn't work, right? 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 there. So that part is like whatever.
It's
in general though, like my concern here is that the organization has kind of adopted that, especially this year. Dylan Moore was here like 2 months too long. Donovan Solano was here like 2 months too long.
It got released yesterday.
Yeah, like 3 months too long. And
I know.
Whatever. Like, yes, there have been repercussions for poor play, but it's been so far fucking delayed that like it matters, but it doesn't like anywhere near as much as it should have.
Yeah.
It didn't send the message that it should have. Like
I think
and again, it goes back to sorry to interrupt, but it just goes back to the thing of, hey, we'll get them tomorrow. We'll get them tomorrow. Like that works in May and June and July, where like, it's the dog days of summer, it's a marathon, not a sprint, all that stuff. You don't want things to snowball too far because that is ultimately going to impact you when it's go time in September. But once you're in go time, like, no, you got to make fucking tough decisions. You got to put your fucking foot down. If Dan Wilson, like, I don't need Dan to just go in there and chew everybody the fuck out and start throwing stuff in the clubhouse and all that. But, if Randy Arozarena gets picked off at second, I'm talking to him about that. And I don't care if he already knows. Like, I'm going to go, like, no, dude. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, what are you doing? Cal Raleigh getting picked off at second the day before after they scored the 2 runs on Julio's infield single. Like, I don't care that you're having the greatest catcher season of all time. What the fuck are you doing? We got an opportunity to play add-on here and you're creating an out on the base pass. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is go time. Like, so it's shit like that where I'm like, okay, the players like playing for Dan. Cool. Great. Everyone says that. I've talked to Gary a bunch. Gary always says that to me when I ask him about Dan. Anyone you talk to that's around the team, they say players love talking. The players love playing for Dan. Why do they love playing for Dan? And this is just a question.
Do they love winning with Dan? Do they love winning with Dan? Do they want to play October baseball with Dan?
Not with Dan, for Dan.
Yeah.
Do they want to win for Dan?
Yeah.
Right? Is that a guy that they want to go to war with? Or do they just love him because he has substitute teacher energy and he's just like, yeah, man, it's cool. Like, we'll just get him tomorrow. Like, yeah, man, just, do your thing. Right. Cause like, that's kind of like the Pete Carroll thing, but to an extreme, to a fault. Yeah. Where it's like, yeah, you should let guys be themselves and not ask them to do anything that they're not capable of and blah, 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 blah. But you also just can't like let them just go free and just fucking continue to do shit and just eventually it'll work out. Like at some point you gotta be like, what's up? Like, what are we doing? Right. And so apparently they had a meeting today.
Yeah. Shannon Dreyer tweeted a good, at this point, 36 minutes ago, Clubhouse is opening late today because of a meeting, not likely players only, as there's no sign of any Mariner player or coach anywhere. So, yeah, I mean, cool, they had a meeting, and that's great, but if they lose 8-2 tonight, I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, but still, at a certain point, though, like, you have to send the message of just what I said today. And again, you don't need to be throwing shit and all this stuff, but you need to be like, look, we have this fucking great opportunity. We can't be playing like shit, right? We can't be, even when we're down 5-0, we can't be just taking 3 called strikes down the middle.
Yep.
We can't be, fucking half-assing it on a ground ball to shortstop. We can't be getting picked off at second base. Like every fucking play and pitch and run counts right now. Every single game that you're playing right now until the end of the season, until you're back at T-Mobile Park and packing up your locker room, that matters. So that's my biggest question about Dan, right? Do they just like playing for him because like they can just kind of run all over him? He's just kind of a doormat, or because like he's actually like a guy that they respect as a leader, not respect as a man, respect as a leader. Those are 2 very different things. And I don't know the answer for that, right? That's not me like trying to insinuate anything. it's a legitimate question that I have though, because I'm not there. Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, the reporters are there, but they're not behind closed doors. They don't actually see what the real dynamic is between those guys. Because it could be very different when they're out on the field taking BP and all this stuff than when, you know, they're just having a one-on-one in his office with no one else present.
Yeah.
Right. So what is the real relationship there between Dan and the players? That's what I want to ultimately get down to. That's something we'll never truly know unless, you know, it gets out there eventually. But like, it's something that we could possibly never know, and no one can really pretend to know. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess really why I question that is because Dan's had opportunities to get really fired up. And again, I don't need him to go out and get thrown out of games and shit. But he's very passive when he even talks to umpires. When like some bullshit just happened, the club just got fucked. And he's just like, you know, I don't know exactly what he's saying, but he just looks like he's
pissed, but he's like he's staying behind that line though.
Yeah, he's just like, so
it's like sometimes
so
you just have to cross
like,
it.
Yeah, it's like sometimes they'll cut, you know, the camera will cut to him and he looks mad, but it's like whatever. Like go out there and like actually talk to the guy. Like what the fuck is going on? Like what? And then sometimes there's been a couple times this year where he's picked weird moments to do it. And it's like that. Yeah. That's when you chose to do that. God, I wish I could remember the specific example that
there's been a couple times, yeah, where it's like the 2 times he's gotten ejected this year, twice I think has happened.
Yeah,
both times he was, I think, arguing balls and strikes, and it was a strike. Like it was a strike, and they got called out. And both times he's gotten ejected, it has been for the umpire making the correct call. But I've seen so many times where they made the wrong call blatantly, and it's just nothing.
And he's just there, and he's just chilling, Yeah. And so that's part of the reason why I bring up these questions. And then the bigger reason is, again, just the effort level, especially last night. But generally, the effort level on the road.
I think I just can't take the road shit anymore because you know, once again, like the excuse has always been, well, like you can't, you know, they're not really creating their own energy on the road, and you know, like of course it's different being at home, and you know, I experienced it firsthand a week ago, like how energetic T-Mobile Park is right now, and that's awesome. But on the road, man, like I watch replays of like, let's say the Boston Red Sox right now, and their whole on road games, their whole dugout is going apeshit when they're doing well. Like there is, but you don't see that ever with the Mariners. You don't ever see on the road them like literally fiending to like feast on these road teams, especially these bad road teams with barely anyone in attendance, when they should be, I'm not going to say free wins, but I mean, come on. Like there's been a couple where they absolutely should have just obliterated them. And it's like, they're just absolutely anemic, and I cannot take it because like that is what, like you said earlier, the teams who are contenders every year and are in the playoffs every year and make the runs every year, like the Astros, like the Phillies, all of them, they are going to make you pay in away games too. And the problem is the Mariners were doing that until the All-Star break, but I cannot, and it's, to me, it's not just a Dan thing as well, as far as this whole away energy problem. It's the players too.
Well, like, it's ultimately on the players.
Well, and I remember at the Little League Classic, or I think it was there, Julio got interviewed, and someone asked him, do you prefer to like ignite the crowd at home, or do you love to silence the crowd at away games? And he answered, oh, a little bit of both. Really? Are we sure? And I'm not talking about just Julio, but it's like are we sure about silencing the road crowds? Because we haven't done that. What are you talking about? There is no killer instinct on the road. And it's just, and I'm curious, like, is this whole lack of killer instinct and, in my opinion, just straight up lack of urgency we have seen the last 3 at this point, August and September's, other than on the at home this year, like, obviously that's always the caveat. They played very well. On the road and all that, like, is this just a systemic issue within the Mariners? And it feels like it just is, because at this point, like, there's not like the travel or anything else that you can like point to being like, yeah, that kind of makes sense why they don't do that. It doesn't matter, man. Like, you are in a playoff spot. You're fighting for a playoff spot. Like, all us fans, all we want. I don't care if Cal Raleigh hits 80 home runs this year. I want to watch October baseball. I want to watch my team playing October baseball, because the thing with the playoffs too, right, is they are dog shit on the road right now. And that sucks, right? But the playoffs are just a different beast altogether. Every pitch matters. Every at-bat matters. Every game matters. And it's one of those things where you can't even take a pitch off in the playoffs, or else you are going to get screwed. Yeah. But that also means that the playoffs are volatile, right? Like, you're going to, like, let's say you go, like, any team could beat any team in the playoffs. Like, it is, especially in the American League, it is open, man. You could beat the Red Sox. You can beat the Yankees. You can beat the Houston Astros. You could beat anyone. It is just a matter, because, I mean, we saw the Diamondbacks in the freaking World Series 2 years ago and eliminate Philly at home.
Yeah, well, and to your point, too, this Mariners club, especially as of late, has kind of big 2023 Rangers energy. Great offense on paper. Bullpen sucks. But as soon as the Rangers, survived, they nearly blew it. The Mariners nearly overtook them in the wild card. As soon as they were able to survive and get into October, it was just that 2 weeks. Yep. All they needed, and the bullpen was fine enough, man. And the offense got hot again, and they got enough pitching, and they won the fucking World Series. And again, that's the thing. That's ultimately the core of this, right?
Just get in.
I'm not trying. Like, I'm sure some people will listen to our episode today that we did on Locked On, or maybe listen to this and go, Ty's just shitting on the Mariners, right? Ty's just shitting on the players, right? Like, obviously they care. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Have you even ever played the game? Like, like all that shit, right?
Whenever you ask them when they come to Seattle what they want to win a World Series in Seattle. Yeah. They say that.
Yeah. I do believe in this fucking club. I really do. Even with all the shit that
That's why we're so mad.
Yeah. I really, 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 really fucking believe that they can win the World Series this year. I really do. Honest to God. Yep. They just need to get the fuck in. They just need to get in. Get in, and I think they can go on a run. Just get in.
Yep.
Because it's all you need is just 2 to 3 good weeks. 2 to 3 good weeks, and that's it. That's all you need to win a championship.
Yep. It's just, and that's the thing, right? Like, that is why we're so frustrated about this team, especially in comparison to last year and 2023. Like, yes, we all watched them lose a 10-game lead in the division. All that sucked, right? But that's the thing, man, is, like, on paper, this team is the best team they've rolled out. If you compare 2023, 2024, and now, on paper, this is the best team they've rolled out all 3 years. And then you also counter that too with the division and the wild card are the weakest it's been in those last 3 years as well. This is the best shot they've had. And it's like, if they can't do it this year, when can I expect them to do it? Literally when?
Yeah. No, that's the question. That is, you absolutely just hit the nail on that right there. And that's, again, going back to what you were saying earlier about, like, long-time Mariners fans and the anxiety and the assumption that they're just going to fuck it up. That's part of the anxiety, right? Is like, if you're not going to do it now, where it seemed like all the stars align, when the fuck are you going to do it?
Yeah. It's like, what? So if they don't do it this year, what? Do I have to wait until we have Colt Emerson on the team and Laz Montez and all these, our farm system, all of our top 100 start debuting and, like, oh, this is awesome. Look at this, basically renaissance of the Mariners come to town. Like, but then what? Logan Gilbert's probably gone. George Kirby's maybe gone by that point. Who knows? Like, we don't know what this team's going to look like.
Turn of his career.
And Cal Raleigh's having the best catching season of all time right now. He is in the MVP conversation Like,
yeah.
I mean,
and it's
like,
yeah,
I can't.
There's just so many things that it's like, it's not just about blowing the opportunity. It's blowing everything that you got over the course of the season.
Yeah.
The season that Cal is
Josh
having. Naylor,
Eugenio Suarez.
Like the greatest deadline that whether or not you thought that they needed to go add more arms, they should have added more arms, but still,
of course,
regardless of that, or independent of that, that was still the best deadline they've had in franchise history in my mind.
Yep.
So like you had that, and you're just gonna let that all go for fucking naught. Yep. Really, like that just. If any team would do it, it's the Mariners. And see, that's the longtime Mariners fan of me coming out. But like, if any team would do it, it is the fucking Mariners. But like, dude, like, just be fucking serious. Just go fucking kick the Rays' ass tonight. How about that? How about you go kick the Rays' ass tonight and tomorrow, and go kick the Braves' ass? Because you know what? They fucking suck compared to you. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? How about you start acting like a real fucking playoff team for once? And act like the fucking Astros, and act like all these teams that you say that you can compete with. Because they're not having any issue. Like, I mean, like the Astros are 20-21 over their last 41. But do you have any doubts that the Astros are not going to be able to turn it on? Fuck no. Yep. Because you know that they're going to turn it on. Yep. You know that they're going to make some sort of run here. You know that they're going to be just a very, very difficult out in October. I was trying to think of a better way of saying that. But like they're going to be a very difficult out in October. Yep. Like, you know that there's no doubts about that. Again, it goes back to the killer instinct thing. Like, do you think the Dodgers and the Brewers and the Astros and the Red Sox and the Yankees and all these clubs, do you think that they're like, oh man, I really, do you think their fan bases are like, oh man, I really hope that they can take 2 or 3 from the A's? Like, fuck no.
Yeah.
Like, come on. So yeah, go out. Kick the Rays' ass tonight. Kick their ass again tomorrow night. Go to Atlanta, kick the Braves' ass, go home, kick some more ass. And we'll see about the next road trip. But yeah,
so
fucking be serious, please.
Yeah. So I guess just to wrap it up, like, so they have 2 more games in Tampa Bay. They have a day off, and then they go to the Braves for 3. Then they will host the Cardinals for 3, the Angels for 4 at T-Mobile Park, which is the only saving grace for that 4 games against the Angels. In fact, it's at home, because the Angels, Joe Adell's going to hit 5 home runs that series. I'm guaranteeing it. Sure. And then they, in the middle of September, will head to Kansas City for 3 and Houston for 3, which that road trip right there is going to decide the season, I think.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't, right? You end the season with Colorado and then the Dodgers. Okay. You cannot let your playoff hopes stay to rely on a 3-game set against the Dodgers. And listen, I get that, like, some people made the point, like, the Dodgers are going to be in the playoffs by then, like, they'll clinch their spot, like, they're not going to be really playing for anything at that point. Sure, it's still the fucking Dodgers, okay? Like, it is still the Dodgers. They're still a dangerous team, and you cannot have it up to that Dodgers series. You need to secure it.
Thank you, in that road trip before, for scheduling that.
Yeah, or the Colorado series. So, but that's gonna be it for today. Lots of stuff that we covered. If you were listening to this the whole time, appreciate it. Ty, any last words for people listening?
Again, be serious. Go fucking beat these teams that you need to beat. You are playing the Rays, Braves, Cardinals, and Angels.
Yeah,
you need to beat the shit out of them. Go do that. If you don't, then frankly, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yeah, they have not looked like a team worthy of the playoffs the last couple weeks on the road, and I would really love for them to start playing like their talent level. That's really all we need. But that's going to be it for today's talk. I know it was a lot of stuff and very emotionally heightened, we'll put it that way, just because, listen, at the end of the day, we care about this team. We want to watch October baseball. There's nothing that we want more than that at the end of the day, regardless of where they go. I want October baseball. But yeah, if you're watching this, subscribe to the channel. It's free. It helps me out a lot. Obviously, go check out Locked On Mariners if you haven't already, which you probably have. And go check out Ty as well. His links are on the screen if you can't see that. Ty Dane Gonzalez on Twitter, TDG, B Sky Social at Blue Sky. And yep, it's gonna be it for me in this one. I will see you in the next. Bye. Oh, don't play the outro. Okay, actually, bye.